Hello, everybody, and welcome to VFR. Today, we are on the ground here in St. Louis International Airport, KSTL, and we are heading down to Tulsa, Oklahoma. We're going to make the crossing of Missouri pretty much all the way through past Springfield and Joplin, but we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get into the flight planning and the route. So welcome aboard, everybody. Transcon 2022. We are, I don't know, how far are we? Well, I was going to say halfway, but we're just actually about to the Mississippi River. So let's get some toolkit pro up. Now, this is a map of the East United States. We started here in New York City. Actually, we started here, I believe, at Montauk, if I'm not mistaken. We flew across New York, Long Island. Flew into New Jersey, down through New Jersey. We flew across Pennsylvania to Gettysburg, which is down here. Then we crossed Pennsylvania to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, the Steel City. We took, I believe we went straight to Dayton, Ohio. Then to Indianapolis, Indiana. And then up to Chicago, Illinois. On the banks of Lake Michigan. So from Chicago, we then puttered our way south past Bloomington, Illinois, where we crashed that Boeing 247. And I headed down to St. Louis. And finally, after long last, in episode 5, crossed the Mississippi River. And so I was going to say we were at about halfway. I mean, traditionally, if you're not from the U.S., I think a lot of people think of east-west based on the Mississippi. It's the biggest river. Runs from Minnesota all the way down to New Orleans. Along this border. So all these border states are, defined by the Mississippi River. So we're now in the western Mississippi River. St. Louis, the city, the gateway to the west. That's what they have a big arch in St. Louis, if you haven't seen. It's supposed to symbolize the gateway to the west. Anyway, that's where we are. We are on the gateway to the west. I was about to say we're about halfway. But when you zoom out, you're really only about 2/3 of the way there. We've got a leg to Oklahoma, to Tulsa, then probably another leg through Oklahoma City and maybe North Texas into New Mexico. I mean, that would probably, the goal, I think, for the next flight would be to get to Santa Fe or Albuquerque. That's probably a longer leg of 2.5, 3 hours. And then you could start to talk about crossing Colorado Plateau here and going into Arizona. And then Los Angeles. Have to look up exactly where Route 66 went through that particular stretch. But that's where we are in our Transcon 2022 journey. Going east to west across the states. Where, yeah, I'd say we're 40% of the way there. Here at St. Louis, 40 to go. Now, we are at St. Louis Lambert International Airport, up here at the Fancy BizJet departure. We are going to be on VATSIM today. So, seems like a quiet night on VATSIM. Maybe not. We might have an Indy Center, but we're in KC Center. I don't know. I'll have to check on that. So, yeah. Anyway, we're going to be here, and we got Trusty 866 Tango Whiskey getting ready to go. But we do need to kind of finalize our flight plan. We're going to depart the St. Louis Bravo out to the southwest. And this is kind of the road and path we're going to follow. Down this way through our next kind of big one is Springfield, Missouri, here. And I'm going to actually just add an overfly of the airport itself. KSGF, Sierra Golf Foxtrot. As that, because that'll be fine. And then the Class Charlie goes up to 5,300 feet. So we can climb above it, we can go around it, we can go through it. We'll see what goes on there. Springfield's kind of the next stop. If we're going direct, again, it kind of winds a little bit, but that's direct. And then we cross here. Now then we got to make a left-hand turn to Joplin. We'll overfly Joplin. We'll just overfly the airports because, again, not anything too crazy. But you get Carthage, you get Joplin. Then we'll go through Miami down here as we cross into Oklahoma and East Oklahoma here. So crossing into East Oklahoma, then it'll be pretty much a straight shot for Tulsa International, K-Tull, Tango Uniform, Lima. It's got a few runways, actually, so, we'll have options for landing and what the weather looks like. Speaking of which, we can do a weather briefing, so let's check out what's going on. We'll pull up the digital ATIS for St. Louis. STL is going to be Information Uniform. Wind 100 at 6 knots, 10 surface mile visibility. We got a few clouds at 12,000, broken clouds 25. And 6 degrees Celsius, so not freezing, but chilly. Altimeter 29083, and they're using visual approach 12 left, 11 for arrivals, departing runway 12 right. So departing runway 12 right, and let's see, where do we fit in? No, we are in KC, we're in Kansas City Center. However, does Tulsa get into Fort Worth? No, Tulsa, I think we're entirely in Kansas City Center, based on what I'm looking at in the map. So again, that's our route. It's going to be pretty simple. We're going to pass through a few things like the Mark Twain National Forest. And yeah, we'll get to it. So let's get out of this map view because we don't want to look at a map all night. Thank you all again for coming along. And again, this is going to be kind of a new stream. If you missed our stream on Sunday or on Saturday, was it, I think. Stream this weekend. We're going to start making Monday, I think, the stream night. Just because it's easier to, I think it's easier to keep than Thursday night, which kept getting bumped for various different things. It's a busy time of year running around. So that's the hope, that's the goal, and we will we'll see. But we're going to keep cracking along with Transcon 22. So back in our 310, it's been a while since I flew the 310, to be honest. We're going to go with alternator and battery on. It's going to yell at me. Why is it yelling at me? Gear. So the hardware switch gear is up. That'll make it down. That'll be good. So, pre-flight checks real quick. Let's just look at the left-hand side. We are in 866 Tango Whiskey. I had to remember to reset it in the sim, so it should be state saved and have all of our stuff. There's the tablet there. Oh, I lost the tablet. Where'd the tablet go? Oh, it's up here. I'm thinking of the Beaver, I guess. So we are 310R 866 Tango Whiskey. Passengers are cold. We'd better get it running here. We're going to fuel up. I'm just going to take most of the fuel in the main tanks, and we'll leave 25% in the aux tanks. And as far as all this is fine, we're not going to change any of it because that's what we have set up. And we're not going to worry about status right now. I do want to load the front right, and we'll load up the nose baggage and rear baggage area with the trinkets that we have accumulated along this trip. All right. So that's good. Just do a control wipe out, make sure I don't still have big jets on. That's good. Other things that need to happen, we can turn our nav lights on. We'll go ahead and turn beacon lights on too because we are getting ready to start up. Everyone else is good. Are we on the VATSIM network? We are connected, and we need to be on Unicom 122.8 once we get avionics. So if we just turn on everything real quick and let it come. One two 2.8. I'm hoping we don't have to update anything here, but we may. That would be unfortunate. We may have to do it Dead Reckoning. We'll see. Oh, I got something there. I got a little life there. Okay. Well, if nothing else, I have one GTN 750. That's going to work. Or maybe I'll make it crash. I don't know. All right. Well, flight plan. Let's get that going. We are at Sierra Tango Lima. And we are going to a Tulsa. Nope, not what I wanted. I wanted Tulsa International Airport. Yes. And then, what did I say? Memory of a Goldfish. Springfield was Sierra Golf Foxtrot. And Joplin was JLN, Juliet Lima November. Joplin Regional. So we are on CTAF. Now we have a magenta line, so we don't have to go work too hard for it. I guess we could always go VOR to VOR2 if we needed to. Yeah, so that's still not coming back, huh? Maybe it'll come back when we cycle avionics. So nav lights on, beacon lights are on. Bring Mitcher full forward, full rich props pull forward, and let's get the engines started up. We do need fuel. Let's make sure, see if how good of a pilot I was last time. I did turn the fuel tanks off, so that's good. So fuel tanks on. We're gonna need heat when we get up to get it going. Our passengers are giving us dirty looks because it's pretty cold on the ground here. We may even need some anti-ice. We shall see. So I think we'll end up cruising. We'll try and cruise pretty low, but we'll probably end up around 6,000 feet. There's not a ton of terrain. That's going to be a huge factor today. It's mostly going to be a matter of avoiding the whatever airspaces we are prone to falling into. We could also use the Springfield VOR, I guess, if we needed to. Where's Joplin? That's Tulsa. Joplin have a VOR? I don't think it does. And then adding Tulsa at the end. I'm just kind of redoing what we did in Sky Vector. Because once you read this, I mean, we were using Central Grid Pro, and that VFR chart's fine too. Navigraph VFR charts are fine too, but you get used to reading the FAA ones, and it's just a little bit quicker. So we're looking at 2,000 feet for all terrain. It's going to be pretty flat the whole way. So 6,000 feet, I think, is what we'll pencil in for. Our altitude, 6,500. And we're going west. East is odd, west is even odder, so that works. Okay. Good. Let's light these fires. We're going to start the left engine first, opening that up a little bit. We could open our little clear prop window and give a clear prop. Problem is this one's so transparent, I forget to close it. Batteries are all on. We can turn on the right magnetos. Fuel pump on low. Selector to right. Everything else is good to go. And there it is. That's the right engine. Let's start the left up, crack the throttle. We'll prime on the left-hand side. We've got fuel. Oh, we don't have a parking brake on, though. And that just ended our trip right there. It's a little embarrassing. So it looks like I'm stuck in a little bit of terrain. So let's get some help from someone. We took a good dent out of the side of the side of that room. And that's why you verify that parking brake is on. Let's keep that pushing back. Let's give ourselves a nice, decent amount of space here. Shall we? That will work. Parking brake on. Okay. So almost disaster, but we saved it. And that's the left engine coming to life. Let's close the window up. We had taxi lights on. Strobe and landing lights can stay for now. Avionics coming on. And we are going to squawk a VFR for now. This might be a... So my main panel is not playing nicely. But the secondary panel is. Let's just try reinitializing another window. That'll work fine. Okay, so I'm just going to try one more thing. Pardon the immersion. 530. Let's go back to the 750. If that saves me, it doesn't look like it has. So worst case, I can hack it with a couple of binds. We can use the second one. It looks like our primary GPS is going to be in up for this one. We're going to squawk 1200. And we're going to squawk. Can I turn it on here? I cannot. Can I turn it on here? I can. Well, it's not going to... Does VPilot show me squawking? Maybe. I think it does, actually. Okay. Good enough. Good enough for now. We'll get it going. Just one more check to make sure we do not have a Kansas City Center online. Does not look like we do. No St. Louis Tower approach or anything else. Looks like we do have a friend, a Southwest. Southwest 946, which is going to be heading for Detroit. Or no, heading for Chicago Midway. No, I'm not right. So let's get Navigraph up. Let's get the chart for St. Louis Lambert International Airport. We're going to create a new flight. And we're going to do Tango Lima. We'll add it to the route. And adding a, not an alternate, I wanted a destination of Atoll. Perfect. Okay, so Tulsa, or St. Louis was saying, Real World ATIS is saying that they're using 12 right for departures. If we grab Navigraph, we can get to 12 right via, looks like Foxtrot Victor. Foxtrot Victor 1-2 right. We have a tail height of less than 25 feet. Yes. So that's good. 1-2 right. We'll take off this way, and then we will basically make a right-hand turn coming off and depart out to the south. All right. Bring parking brake off. Taxi light can come on. Not clip the building again. So thank you all for coming along tonight on Transcon 2022 as we continue our trip out to the west. We're going to be stopping in Oklahoma today. And then we'll make our jump into the desert. Probably for Albuquerque and points west. If you're new to the channel or you're new to this stream, we are following Route 66 for this portion. So we arrived at Chicago, we took a vote, and the vote was we're going to go through the Route 66 that would have followed.
St. Louis traffic Southwest 946 departing 1-2 right, St. Louis.
He's going 1-2 right, and we will see. You can see the Southwest out there. We're going to call up and say we're taxing 1-2 right, Foxtrot Victor crossing 2-4. St. Louis traffic, Twin Cessna 866 Tango Whiskey, we're taxiing runway 12 right via Foxtrot Victor crossing runway 24 St. Louis. That might not be the right call sign either. They might be Lambert. I don't know. No, St. Louis clearance, so that's fine. right, so let's give it a little bit of power and get on the move. I'm also guilty on not updating the flags for 66 Tango Whiskey. We've been to a few places now. Nice takeoff. That's the new VATSIM technology for you. So I'm a little delinquent on that, though. So I will need to get into the paint shop and update that with some of the places we visited. By my count, we've been to New York, Pennsylvania, Jersey. What's after Jersey? Ohio? Well, what's after Pennsylvania? Ohio. Did we touch West Virginia? I think we did. West Virginia. Indiana, Illinois, Missouri. So we're going to cross into our 9th state with Oklahoma. So I got a little updating to do. We're also going to do a little bit of a run-up. We haven't flown this plane in a minute, so let's just kick the tires on it a little bit as we get out to, we'll get out to Victor and do that. Do it when we get out there. All right, landing lights can come on. And we'll turn strobes on as well. St. Louis traffic, 866 Tango Whiskey. We're crossing runway 24, St. Louis. Good check, mark 1 eyeball. St. Louis traffic, twin Cessna, clear, runway 24, St. Louis. All right, strobes can come back off, landing lights can come back off for the moment. And we are definitely going to need some pitot heat today. Important not to forget that. Ah, that's right, it's bound on the Bravo. And this facility, okay, so that is in there. I'm just looking at the chart. This would be another general aviation parking that we didn't, I don't think we got sent there. We went to the GA ramp in front of air cargo, which from the Google images looks more like private jets, but we'll take it. So 9 right, we'll do a little swing here, swing ourselves kind of into the wind. And do a bit of a run up. Make sure. So it's a visual. So we're good. We do have some clouds to the south. This is going to be VFR. I still need to file the VFR flight plan on VATSIM too. I should do that while we get set here at the end. I guess that would be a good run up pad. All right, parking brake is on. Going to advance the throttles. We also need to start heating up the cabin. I'm doing too many things at once. So let's heat up the cabin first. Defrost on. Temp control. We'll open it up. We'll get cabin air and forward air opened up a little bit too. And we're on heater. So that is all good. Hopefully we get cabin is cool but warming slowly. That's what we want to see. Next up, let's file the flight plan on VATSIM. We're going to be VFR. We're going STL to KTOL, and we'll make Sierra Golf Lima, or Sierra Golf Foxtrot is Springfield. That our departure time is going to be 0030 Zulu. I expect it'll be about 2 hours. And we're going to call it VFR to the southwest. VFR southwest bound. And we are MSFS Cessna 310 or. And our cruising altitude again, 6,000. What did I say, 6,500? Cruise speed 170. All right, so we followed that flight plan. All right, everything else is good to go. Full forward. Let's bring the power up. Looking for about 1700 RPM or so. We'll let it stabilize. Let's rate mag 1. Let it come back up. These switches make this somewhat easier. Left mag, right engine. All right, slight delay, but we're back at it. My other half stepped out for a minute. We're getting the engines warmed up. That's good. What are we on? Right mags or left mags? That's good. And we'll do left. Left is good. Wipe out the props. We'll do left engine first. All right, all that seems in order. Just one more check, make sure we don't have pitot covers on or anything, and we're good to go. All right, so final takeoff briefing. Today we're going to be taking off on runway 12 right, wind 100 at 6 knots, slight crosswind blowing in from the right, blowing left to right, I should say. We're going to be flying. We'll rotate. We'll fly up. Fair speed's not coming alive. I've left the pitot heat tubes on, but it doesn't look like I have the covers on. We'll hit 80 knots, and then we'll be going flying. And then if anything happens before that, we will try to abort the takeoff. Now, on the departure, we're going to take a right-hand turn off the runway, and we're going to loop around to a heading of, and let's bug it in here. Let's call it, what does SkyVector tell me to do? SkyVector tells me to do a 242, so we'll call it 24. We'll turn right until we'll turn around until we're going heading 24. We do have a VOR that we can use at Springfield, and that's going to be the Springfield VOR 116.9. 116.9, and I won't even try on the in-sim GPS. It doesn't look like it's updated there. You have to borrow another plane. All right. Uh-oh, what's it yelling at me for? Looks like we had another disconnect event there. That was weird. It's been happening a little bit more frequently than I would like lately. So we're going to advance the throttles. 30 inches. We do have a notch of flaps in. Airspeed's live, that's 80. Rotate, and we'll go flying. 100 knots now. Coming up. Flaps up, gear up. And taxi light come off. Trips around more climbing. We're going to climb directly up to... we're going to climb directly up to 6,000 feet. Let me just check my MSFS. And there's the city of St. Louis out in front of us. In fact, let's just go ahead and... We're uncontrolled here, so let's take a look. I think we can go out and fly down the river. That won't kill us. Our aux fuel pumps are on. It's yelling at me about something. We can turn that off, though. Pitot heat is on. No visible moisture, so we'll leave anti-ice off for the moment. Bring this back in. And for now, I think we'll fly down. If we were talking to ATC, we would, I'd call them up and tell them we want to fly by downtown. They could tell us to stay low if we want at 2,000 feet, which would be what it would take to stay out of the Bravo. But since we're, you know, we're controlling our own destiny, so to speak, we'll stay up here. St. Louis traffic, Twin Cessna 866 Tango Whiskey. We're airborne 3000. We're going to stick around and fly down the river southbound past downtown, and then exit to the south. St. Louis traffic. And if we did have a controller on, it would be a similar kind of conversation. You can see the gateway arch there now. St. Louis, obviously, it's a city, you know, the gateway arch, the gateway to the west. One of the bigger cities kind of early on in U.S. history to be on the kind of open to the west. Lewis and Clark expedition basically originated in St. Louis. They'd go up the river until it went into the Missouri River. But, you know, St. Louis is kind of the jumping off point for all that. Obviously home to the St. Louis Cardinals baseball team, the St. Louis Blues in the National Hockey League, and formerly the St. Louis, now Los Angeles Rams, which still doesn't quite feel right to me as a football fan. So once though, we're going to hold around 3,000 feet here, and we will fly down the Mississippi just a bit. Past downtown St. Louis. And I'm not sure how much I'm trusting my, you know, other aids, my automation and stuff. So we may do a little more hand flying on this than I was originally planning. Let's see if I can pull up the fly chart too. St. Louis fly chart, yeah. So if we were to do this kind of with ATC on, staying outside the Bravo, we'd stay below 2,000 feet up the river. And go from there. Here comes St. Louis. There's a couple other points of interest around here too in MSFS. The Gateway Arch, obviously, but there's the Cayuga Mounds, which is kind of an ancient Native American burial site slash city. That's also, there's a park kind of up the road. I think it's up that way. That's modeled. They got a point of interest. And what's, I feel like there was another one. But there are some good sightseeing opportunities in the area. Alright, it's coming out here now. Let's get a good view of what's going on here. There's the Gateway Arch. I doubt it's the Edward Jones Dome anymore. And I don't know, there's Busch Stadium, the Cardinal baseball stadium is down there as well. And on our left side, obviously, is the state of Illinois. That's screenshot worthy. I gotta say, the baseball stadiums look really, and the football stadiums too, and these photogrammetry look pretty good. At least from this angle, this level. It all looks pretty good. So yeah, that's St. Louis, Missouri. We're now basically cut across the middle and southwest of Missouri. Again, generally tracing the route that Route 66 would have taken, and does take, where it exists. We're also going to continue our climb out to 3,000 feet. I'm gonna use my trim wheel for this. And basically put ourselves at a 240 heading, so that worked out, actually. We can fly this flight now. We're going to be 866 Tango Whiskey. No, I actually don't have 866 Tango Whiskey in Sim Toolkit Pro for some reason. So we'll pencil it in as November 22 Victor. We'll give it a little more power as we get into the climb, and we'll bring the props. I should have brought the props back a little earlier, but that's all right. 5-0, and we can even lean out the fuel a little bit too. Lean out mixture. That's probably good for now. Putting it into a nice steady climb. Now I do notice that my moving map isn't working. This is gonna be interesting. This is gonna be an interesting flight. With all of our nav stuff not responding. We'll have to get my pocket 750. And it's, I mean, it's one thing if we are, new update available. Oh, great. It's one thing if we can, you know, it's one thing not to have the moving map, but if I can't tune the radios for the VORs, that's going to make things, that's going to make life hard. So let's pull it up on our tablet, so to speak. And let me punch that in. We're going World VFR. Springfield VOR is going to be 116.9, so 11. This isn't working either. Okay. We may be sunk. That's all right. We'll do this the old-fashioned way. We'll really navigate with the FB. So 250, we'll hold this for a little bit. I need to update my GTN 750. Didn't think of that. But that's what happens when you don't fly something for a minute. And we're hitting 4,500 now. And let me get this configured as well. Again, thank you all for coming along today on VFR Transcon 22. We're going to work on, I think Mondays is the mainstream day. I think it'll be easier to keep at least for the next few months with everything going on, you know, approaching the holiday season. Transcon 22, we probably have a few more flights. We got, I think, a long haul to Albuquerque next. I don't want to hang out. I mean, I like nothing against Oklahoma. want to get onto it. So we'll charge through, I think, that. We'll do maybe a longer haul there, get us into Arizona, and then we're in the home stretch. So, you know, you're looking at 3, 4 more flights, maybe 5. You're thinking the leg from here gets us to Tulsa, Tulsa to Albuquerque, Albuquerque to somewhere in Arizona to LA. So that's 3 legs. So it might just be 3 legs, but 3 longer legs, or it might be 4 smaller ones. Let's trim this out a little better. That's 5,500. We're looking for 6,500. I do like this airplane. It is good fun. Here comes 6,000. And when in doubt, we're going to kind of follow this road, going all the way down. And in fact, we can do that for a little bit here. Let's see where we are. This big road you can see here, it's not Route 66, but it is Interstate 44, which runs alongside the old Route 66. So now, obviously not Route 66 anymore, it's Interstate, but this is basically the route we're going to be following. So for now, we'll do this kind of purely visually. We'll track the road in front of us, and that should lead us to Springfield. Now at Springfield, we're at 6,000. We don't have any ATC or any concerns because the Charlie goes up to 5,300. So we should be able to clear the airspace and continue on our merry way over Springfield, Missouri. Now let's descend a little bit more. We've kind of busted our altitude here. And then we'll get it all configured for cruise. So 6,500 is there. We'll give it some power. And we'll lean out the mixture a little bit too. That's about it. So there's our peak, thereabout. Alright, so we're well on our way. Heading down. Towards Springfield. Now, Springfield is going to be about 57 nautical miles away from St. Louis, so we'll say 50 from here. We are currently going at a airspeed of 150 knots. So we might expect around 20 to 30 minutes to get down there. We're going 50. If I type in 170 on SkyVector, it's showing us about bang on 2 hours of flying time. Scamper 79, welcome aboard. And definitely, I'd say it's my favorite. It's my go-to if I'm doing a trip like this, especially. I really enjoy it. Now, I mean, I know there's, you know, other people. I've heard good things about the Chancellor, the 414 2, which is basically this but bigger. And I do like the Piper Arrows. But when you're not burning real gas, a twin is nice, especially in sim. We do have some clouds at our level. We'll have to maybe see and avoid a little bit of those. We are legally VFR, so we need to maintain some visual separation from those clouds. Just keep an eye on it. And keep an eye on ATC-2. We actually, I mean, this whole flight, we don't have to talk to anyone if we don't want to until we get to Tulsa. And at Tulsa, we would have to talk to the responsible ATC if such was available. That being a controlled airfield. But, you know, for now, we're happy-go-lucky on our own. We won't be getting any contact me's. And don't let me lose sight of the road. I do have some Toolkit Pro. I'm not a purist in any moving map respect, especially on a trip like this. About sightseeing for me. It's about getting to point A to point B. We've had a massive navigation failure. But, you know, I have my iPad up in the, metaphorically in the sim, so. But we will follow the, I think we'll end up following the road a lot more closely than we would otherwise. One thing about this plane, it is a little tough to trim out just right. I don't know how that, you know, translates to the real airplane. But in sim, it's hard to get just right. See if I can't get a good GoPro view where I can still see my altitude. That's pretty good, actually. I want to be cinematic, but I also kind of want to hand fly. We're way down. We're not really using any of our... We can get a little more speed out of this thing. And the wind's at 6,500 feet. We'll have to check on that. But I haven't lost. I lost a couple of my windows, so let's just keep an eye on that. It's going to veer kind of south The road's going to veer kind of south of the magenta line, which is fine. And Scampers, I haven't noticed the wind causing a bunch of turbulence for me. In this plane, I haven't flown a ton of GA stuff since, well, I guess when was some update 10? I haven't noticed it, at least on this flight, I could say, or in any of the stuff I did kind of last week with the Beaver. So maybe it's better now, but it might, you know, I don't know. It's hard to say with these things. Air kind of coiled to do with these clouds. Check the weather at Springfield. Where's... I lost it. I see, I didn't ever have it on. Springfield, Sierra Golf, Foxtrot. Sierra Golf, Foxtrot, they're actually showing a pretty low cloud layer. They're showing overcast at 1,700 feet, which well, I don't see that here yet. It seems a little higher than that. What is that from? 712 local. And what's the time now? 58? Well, they'd be central. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Well, what is that? 2979. This can come down a little bit, actually. So we're going to be a little lower. 2979. Yeah, we're actually a lot lower. So that's the kind of difference you can get if you don't have your altimeter set. Not saying that it didn't, but you may not have. We'll climb up a little bit more. Yeah, you might have to give it another shot. Those things come and go. Stuff to keep track of. Let's get ourselves back there, and that'll be fine. Now, let's see, what, I gotta put it on, just put it on basic mode, point me in this right direction mode. And let's see, we're showing Springfield's showing moderate. It looks like there's kind of a line of clouds. Yeah, there's kind of a yeah, low ceiling at Tulsa and Springfield. Let's see what the TAF says. TAFs. Yeah. So it may be a situation where we give ourselves an IFR clearance to get into Tulsa. We can also do some VFR over the top for a while. And then we can go IFR into Tulsa, but I don't have any navigational equipment, which kind of sucks. We're now going up. We're not actually holding altitude. Yeah, it wasn't a good day to lose navigational equipment, was it? Our alternative plan would be to divert somewhere along the way. Let's turn this back off. Let's trim it back down. So I'm going to climb a little bit. We're going to climb up to 8,500. We'll just keep the climb going. Won't fight it too much and just try to get over this cloud layer while we decide what to do. Because I could file an IFR clearance and that would be fine, but I can't actually fly any IFR procedures right now because I don't have any, I don't even have VORs working because of my avionics. This might get kind of interesting. Climbing for 8,500. And if we can't kill the clouds at 8,500, we'll probably have to reevaluate. Now, if we're looking at alternates for the moment, who's showing something visual? I want Sky Vector for this, I think. I didn't. So Lebanon's showing low IFR. Everything to the north, kind of. Jefferson reporting VFR. Columbia, everything north. Sullivan, Uniform Victor, a small regional field we passed a little while ago, I think a little while ago, right on the road. UUV, yeah. They do have an RNAV approach, but prefer not to have to use that. Where's Sullivan relative to us? Ah, okay, so Sullivan, we might be in luck. That's Sullivan right there. So what we're going to have to do is call an audible. We're going to have to divert to Sullivan. I'm going to fix my GPS so we can fly at IFR clearance. That's going to involve descending kind of in place, avoiding these clouds. And hoping that the weather doesn't change, you know, right now. Of course, in real life, this is why you do real, you know, thorough flight planning. We're just going to kind of enter a circle and start pulling power so we can descend. And we'll just kind of circle around the field and come down to Sullivan. And if I checked the forecast, and this is, you know, this is why you check the forecast before you depart. So Sullivan is reporting wind calm, broken 3,200. Somewhere 29 or 85 is what they're saying. So we're just gonna really descend here in this clear patch. Down to Sullivan. So we get diversion. This is the first diversion on this trip. I think it is. I think it is the first diversion on this trip. You know, and in this situation, I have a couple of philosophies. If we were just flying this for a video, and it was important that we did it VFR, we would land, throw the flag, and change the weather to something, you know, visual. These clouds are a little close even to me now. But if, but since we're on VATSIM, and we have an IFR capable airplane, if I can get my navigation equipment fixed, we will, that'll be kind of our first goal, and then we'll see what we can do as far as IFR. I mean, a sightseeing trip like this isn't, I mean, these clouds are getting close. You know, it's just kind of the point is to sightsee. So I get torn on that, but it's also, you know, you do want to have the actual aviation considerations. So it's, which game do you want to play? Do you want to play the sightseeing game or the weather avoidance game? I'm too close to this cloud. So that's Sullivan. We're passing 6,500 now, and I'm just going to kind of run out this way over the town. They're saying it's calm down there, so we may just make a straight in for the runway coming this way, which is going to be, you know, we'll be on a real long downwind for it. Runways, we're heading 24, so this would be runway 6 coming this way. Over the town of Sullivan, Illinois. Or Sullivan, Missouri. Sorry, Sullivan. I bet you guys don't like being called Sullivan, Illinois. So we will continue the descent. A lot of trim down. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the tension with VFR flying in sim, with real weather, is that it's never, you know, not going isn't a fun answer, but it's often the correct answer for aviation, especially in real life. We're not in real life, we can be a little riskier, because if we do run into a hill, it's not game over. Well, for the moment it is, but we can reload. So, what elevation is the airport at? We're about 1,000 feet for the airport, so we'll go down to 2,000 feet, and we'll just set up for a straight in. I'm not going to belabor the point. And we're still right on I-44, Route 66. So we'll make a quick pit stop here. A quick tech stop and bring it home that way. Passing 4,500 now. And the field is still back to our rear. And I'd say we're about 5 south of the field. So just for completeness sake, we'll make a radio call. Sullivan traffic, Twin Cessna 866 Tango Whiskey. We're descending through 4,000 for 2,000. About 5 miles south of the field. We're going to set up for a straight and approach runway 6, Sullivan. $3,500 now. And once we get down below 3, I'll turn hot on it. That's 3,003. Keep coming downhill, 3,200. We'll turn and start bleeding speed as we descend to something resembling a pattern altitude. So thank you all again for coming along, for just joining us. We're on Transcon 2022. We are currently diverting to Sullivan. I got to fix my nav, and there comes clouds. I'm glad we did that when we did. Weather reloaded. We got some lower cloud cover. We're going to probably have to file... We'll probably have to fly some of this as an IFR flight, at least to get above the clouds. And then from there, we can... I'm a little closer than I wanted to be, aren't I? No, that's the road. I did lose visual at the airport. The field is out there. Right, I'm not flying over it. Yeah. So the field is out that way. We're gonna keep speed coming down. Gear can come out. We'll give it a little power. But, I gotta find the runway. Is that it out there? I really can't tell. No, I'm pretty sure that's the road. I think it's out this way, yeah. There's the main hangar building. Let's go back out to a normal view. We can bring some flaps out. Hopefully help this be a little controlled. That's 2 notches. just keep the trim in. Keep it in, and we'll make the call. Sullivan traffic. Twin Cessna 866 Tango Whiskey. We're on a final straight-in runway 06, full stop, Sullivan. Bring props forward. Cup Happies, we are getting it's pretty bumpy down here now. I don't know if this is, we'll see if we heard differently on the wind. Hopefully there's a windsock down there. If we see something weird, really crazy or weird, we'll go around and reset up for a more appropriate. That sure feels like a crosswind, though. Alright, so let's start letting the speed come back. We're just putting it on the ground here. Not going for style points or anything. Knots. Clear these trees. Hot dog, we got the right runway number. Leave some power in, flare, float. Set it down. Yeah, so that windsock, that's not too bad. It looks like it's variable. Pretty light. Alright, we'll roll out to the end and park up, and I'll have to refire up the sim to, you know, do the download and upload portion of this. So bear with me as I get the GTN 750 updated. All right. That's probably enough for... Let's see if this comes back, though. New version 2.1.58. Hey, we're back. All right. We'll shut that off. Let's get started. We are coming out of... Let's flight plan it. Is it going to work? Or is it going to be a bigger issue? I still can't get... Still having trouble with the GTN. So I may need an update on the Milviz side. May need an update on the Milviz side. Or on the Blackbird side, I should say. Yeah. Okay. Man, that stinks. I did actually get it in, didn't I? 2.1.58 is the current version. Let me just check on GTN 50 PM. Not working. Let's just try cycling it again and see if that does anything. Do I get anything? Yeah, okay, so I can use the radios. I still can't click there, though. That's weird. I'm not sure. I don't know if anyone's seen anything like this. Could it be, It could be another mod. So we do have, I hate to do this. Oh, I got something to... Oh, something showed up and clicked now. Maybe it's just slow. Either way, this is not working quite right. So, in order to move us along and get off the ground... I'm gonna have to cheat. I hate to cheat, but I don't hate it that much. But I won't make it too easy on us. We'll go with the radio navigation. We're gonna have to recalibrate our flight plan a little bit. It looks like we're gonna have to probably depart Joplin IF or depart here IFR. Let's go ahead and make this VFR altitude, and just do one. You know, maybe if I mess with it. Then go back to it, it comes back. No. All right. We've reached the acceptance phase, so that's all fine. Let's go ahead and get the airplane started back up. I think we left everything open. No, these are down. We'll turn beacon on. We'll turn nav lights on. Magnetos can come on. But it didn't save my state because I don't think we were in a valid state to save. I think that's the party line here. We'll turn avionics off for the moment. Mixture full forward, prop full forward. We have parking brake is on, pull down. Let's give this another try. So we're going to open up the throttle a little bit. Everything else is on. We'll go to the right. That's life on the right engine. Left magneto's on. Everything else is on. We'll crack this open. Also, while we're down here, open up our cabin heat a little bit too. Left engine now. Pretty good. Avionics on. Heat-o heat. On. then let's do it. So a little bit of we're having a little bit of avionics trouble here. So we have diverted to Sullivan, which is Kilo Uniform Victor. And now we're going to have to set up a new flight. So Kilo Uniform Victor. Sullivan Regional Airport. We're still going down to Tulsa. We're still going to go via the Springfield to VOR. But we're going to have to find a new nav aid for Joplin. And, well, we can probably work backwards off of the Tulsa VOR. So Tulsa. Yeah, so this is going to, let's go to the board here for a minute. So, SimToolkit Pro. We're now here in Sullivan. We got a very long way from St. Louis. Uniform Victor. We are going to be departing IFR out of Uniform Victor. So I got to change my flight plan to IFR. We'll connect. IFR, we're going to be Kilo Uniform Victor. And then we're going to be to SGF to KJLN to Tull. We'll just file that out. We don't have Kansas City Center online still, so that's not a problem. We're going to be on Unicom. We're going to IFR ourselves up and over the clouds. We'll see from there. But we're basically going to fly heading 245, the 245 radial inbound to the Springfield VOR. We're going to leave here. We're going to track heading 245 till we pick up that VOR. And then at Springfield, we'll make a right-hand turn, 254, 57 nautical miles, where we'll then try to pick up the Tulsa VOR. So we're going to do this all VOR to VOR, so we're not going to cheat that much. But we are going to cheat a little bit because I just can't troubleshoot. I might have to update the MilVis, and I don't want to stop again. Alright, so latest weather at Sullivan. It's saying that still wind calm, just the wind shock agree. The windsock more or less agrees. So we'll go in our direction. There's no other people, so we'll go out on runway 24. So, on the parking brake, we'll loop around and try not to hit the gas tanks. Don't hit the pumping station if we can. Avoid it. Sullivan traffic, Twin Cessna 2866 Tango Whiskey. We're taxiing runway 24 via Alpha, departing out to the south. Sullivan. It's a little quick and dirty here, but we're going to get on the way. It was about a 2-hour flight before the diversion, so we may have an hour and a half left. Keep it on the pavement would help. So thank you all for coming along again. If you're just joining us, we have diverted to Sullivan due to weather. We had a cloud layer roll in as we were departing St. Louis. So, and my GTN 750, I used the PMS GTN 750 and it's not working. I think it might be need a MilVis or a Blackbird 310R update. I'm not sure. I'll have to dig into it a little bit later. But for now, we've swapped out. We put we did a hotspot for the radio, just the radio navigation. So we are IFR capable now. For whatever that's worth. Taxi lights, strobe lights should probably be on too. And we'll extend the landing lights. We're also going to turn on the heated windshield. Just in case. And we are going to have a little bit of moisture. It is a bit chilly, 6 Celsius in St. Louis. So not quite freezing. But not quite warm either. So a little close for comfort. Sullivan traffic, Twin Cessna 86 Tango Whiskey, taking runway 24, departing out to the south, Sullivan. And we're just going to do this one on the run. We've set everything up, props full forward, mixture full rich, pitot heat on. And coming off the runway, we're going to basically hold runway heading 245 out of here. Airspeed's alive, 80 knots. 90, 100, we should be going flying. Flaps up. Trimming for gear up. Gear up. Then heading 245. Antex, like, come on. It doesn't generally like that. I'm just going to try and switch from, let's throw on that nav flag here. So we're on V-lock, that should be fine. This appears to be working now. So if we do need GPS, we can use that. But we're going to fly heading 245. Outbound to pick up the VOR. We may pick it up. Yeah, I'm not sure when we'll pick it up. If we do need something else, we can pick up the Fort Leonard Wood or Forney VOR. TB Tango Bravo Victor. Or I should say Tango Bravo November. I should have looked at that before we departed. So while I mess with that, but Tango Bravo November is going to be on frequency 111.0. And that would help if we even had the Springfield VOR tuned in, which was on whatever I said it was, 116.9. So we'll see if that comes to life in nav 1 and 2. And so that one should be, that's only, well, that's 55 miles away. So we're going to fly this heading of 240. I'm going to give myself a little reroute. And we're going to climb up to our cruising altitude to 6,500 feet. Come off the RPM. Drop RPM back a little bit. We'll back off onto the green on everything. And start leaning out the mixtures. As we continue to climb, that's 5,500. Here's 6,000. We're kind of right at that cloud layer. So we may end up, let's level it off here. We may well end up descending a little bit. Just to get under this, this cloud. And I guess we're IFR now, so we should be at 6,000 feet. What I get for trying to keep it moving, I suppose. And the weather is mostly fine below us. So we might drop down to 4,000. Fort Leonard Wood, or the Waynesville St. Robert Airport is... Pretty overcast layer lower, so It won't get us out of anything. We're going to kind of be in the soup for a while. Going to set the heading at 2.4. Just take a little bit of workload off while we make sure everything else is in order. Fight with the VORs and stuff. So we will take an altitude hold. Take an autopilot with an altitude hold. And then a heading hold with 240. So a cloudy day here over southwest. We're not really in southwest Missouri. We're still very much in central Missouri, but on our way heading to 40. There are some restricted areas around us that we don't want to mess with around Fort Leonard Wood and all that stuff. So we'll kind of stay north. We should stay on our north. If I can find that, yeah. So let me, let's keep it on heading 245. And we'll just use that one as kind of a reference. Like if we can't pick that one up, that'll be fine. We do have the VOR now, so that's Fort Leonard Wood, or I should say the Forney VOR, Tango Bravo November that we have tuned in. We want to stay kind of to the right of it. But that does verify that we're on the right course here. If that needle starts moving to the right, we'll adjust. And then we can always, nav 2 will set up with 116.9. Or we'll set up nav, yeah, let's do it this way. Let's set up nav 1, 110.0. Let's set that up with the one we want to avoid, and let's set nav 1 up with the one we want to follow. Just adjusting the course. Yeah, that should work. All right. And it's showing we're about 96 nautical miles away, which is good. So now we can work off of that. That eases my mind a bit. Let's put in some speed and get going. This is turning into kind of a soupy day. So my vote would be, let's climb up a little bit, up to 8,000. If we can't, because I don't think this is going to get better below. But it kind of stinks for sightseeing purposes. So tell you what, let's dip below. We're gonna request a clearance to 4,000 feet. Be real annoying for the controllers. That means I have to go up to here. We're gonna set up climb 4,000 feet. And vertical speed our way down. And we'll just do it at about 500 feet per minute. We'll keep some speed in, we'll let that really go. And then we'll just have to keep an eye out for any symptoms of icing that may present themselves. Outside air temperature still above freezing. We're at 0 right now. It's showing we're about at 10, so as we go lower, it should get a little warmer. So kind of a cloud out here over Missouri. It looks much nicer when we departed St. Louis, but that'll, that's how they get you. Keep an eye out, make sure KC Center hasn't come online. At the lower altitudes, we will have to be mindful of the airspaces. It's something that we're not really set up to be able to do right now. Certainly not effectively, but if we're on the magenta line, if we're kind of north of the road, we should be okay. And then the Springfield Charlie goes up to 5,300. We're below 2,500. Springfield weather, currently reporting wind 120 at 4 knots, overcast at 1,700. So that's a real narrow window to be at. And we're IFR anyway, so it doesn't matter. Looks better from the outside. If we're coming down through 4,500, if it doesn't clear up, we probably won't fly in the soup. I think we'll bounce back up to 8,000. Try and clear it. And go from there. This will turn into a bit of an IFR leg. Because we're coming 4,300 now. And we lost it. So we lost the VOR2 here. Going too low. So that's coming in and out. Do we lose Leonard Wood? Perhaps not. We're right at kind of the hairy edge here. Yeah, so it's still pretty bad down here. It's not going to get much better. A little bumpy too. Hate to see it. They're trying to give us a little bit of a view. Cruising kind of low, but it's just not happening. It's a shame. Yeah, so this isn't much fun right now. Let's go ahead and climb back up. So altitude. We'll make a best climb for 8,000 feet. Oh, wise controller, clear us to 8,000 feet. Granted. And, we'll aim for about 800 feet per minute. Actually, pretty good. So yeah, again, I go back and forth on all this because part of the trip is about sightseeing, but it's also, we're at a very flat part of the trip too, and part of the trip's about aviating your way across the country too in a late GA plane, and this is part of it. Saying weather sucks, so we'll have to go IFR for this point or do something. So I lean on that end, but it's an imperfect solution. The top of the clouds is a sight, Scampers. That's right. Something like that. We'll cruise on top of some clouds. Let's see if we can get up to 1,000 feet per minute. And then heading wise, I'm tempted just to let it navigate itself into the VOR, but we're pretty close. On track. And that's 5,500, 5.6. Still no KC, that's good. And we don't have, well, we're IFR now. I guess we do have to talk to someone if we want to do something. It's a shame. Of course, we could legally cancel our IFR and go VFR over the top and then re-IFR when we get down to Tulsa, but it's a bit of nuance for no one really being online in this sector. We're about halfway to Springfield at this point. We're showing about 70 nautical miles. Seems about right. Only making 120 knots. Rock's fuel pumps are still on. That's the second time that my honeycomb has alerted me to that. Pretty good. I guess I can give it a little more power, huh? And then the other thing I should do probably, let's squawk 2,000 instead of VFR. Just to avoid confusion. We're 1,000 feet now from 8,000. Get the GoPro view going. Those are some clouds. What's our doohickey saying? It's saying 33 minutes. We can do better than that. Once we level off here, we'll put the pedal down. Try and make up a little time. Lean out the mixture too, just a bit more. That's about good. Now I'm just looking at the horsepower. The top of my engine. My EGT gauges. It is showing up on that dial too, though. And here is 8,000 feet. All right, we are over the top for the moment. Hopefully these clouds don't get much higher. We'll roll from there. Alright, over the top, let's just check on weather as we get down a little bit further. We're going to pass north of Springfield Airport. What did I do about? I didn't update my altimeter. 2982. Oh yeah, we're like at 3002, so that's not right. I'm sure it's going to yell at me, but that's okay. It'll try to fix itself. That's pretty good. I'm going to put on a little music, and we can chill out and cruise over southwest of Missouri. Now we're going to hit Springfield. And then we're going to get into the next stop after that will be a slight right-hand turn to Joplin. Joplin, Missouri. And at that point, we'll start to get thinking about crossing the border into Oklahoma. 26 nautical miles, ground speed 174. That's pretty good. Doing a little better. Well, I guess not. So thank you all for coming along, for just joining us. We are cruising now over a cloudy Missouri. Cessna 310R, part of Transcon 2022. We're heading down to Tulsa, following Route 66. If you see the road running right underneath our left engine, that's I-44. That's roughly approximating the historic path of Route 66. We're listening to Memphis Center. We're not in Memphis Center, but a little ambiance. So we've got Unicom on Com 1, Memphis on Com 2. And we're about 20 miles from Springfield. At Springfield, make a right-hand turn or Joplin. And then this is going to be a little, not tricky, but tricky, because we're going to fly basically the 254 radial outbound from Springfield for 57 nautical miles. Now there's not a VOR on the other end. We're going to pick up the 226 radial inbound to Tulsa. But that's about 85 nautical miles out, so we may or may not be able to pick it up. I'm hoping if we're high 8,000 feet, we can pick up that VOR, no problem. But we'll see. We've also kind of crossed. Actually, we're kind of right where I want to be. That's good. So we're a little south of our course, which is fine. But basically, we're going to try to find the intersection between the Springfield VOR outbound and that radial inbound to Tulsa, if we can pick it up. If we don't pick it up 57 miles from Springfield, we'll make the left turn, put ourselves on that heading, and once we get Tulsa, we will kind of dial in. Yes, campers, we're doing all VOR now.
Alright, over to advisory, country Alpha, FedEx 1466,
we did a hot swap for the GTN 750. I just replaced it with the radio nav, because it feels like cheating to switch it mid-flight, but, you know, what am I going to do? But at least that gives us a little bit of a challenge, a little technical work to do in the cockpit today. You can see we're a little right of the course, actually, so we can, where's my heading mode? We'll just kind of bring ourselves to the west a little bit and try and intercept that radio. According to Sim Toolkit Pro, we're basically directly heading for the airport. You know, I'm our ATC for the day. So, I'm going to clear ourselves into the Springfield Charlie if we are. Actually, we're high enough that it's not a factor. But, yeah, I guess anyone can fly Magenta Line. I can certainly try and fail. VORs aren't that hard either. I mean, once you start getting into flying, you know, DME arcs, that's when it starts to get kind of fun. But even VORs are kind of point to point. You just have to tune the right frequencies and know how to read the lines. And I'm not doing a particularly good job here. We're a little off course, but that's all right. This is why you do a good weather briefing. Because if I had looked at the weather before we started, I would have said, oh, wait, there's a lot of IFR kind of where we're going. I mean, there's some low IFR south of us, and north, actually. So if you go out to Wichita, which is kind of... So we're flying west, so Wichita is kind of out that way. Where they're reporting a big band of low IFR. But it's kind of, yeah, we're kind of in the middle of this sector. That's true. It's just an extra step, isn't it?
You're leaving my airspace,
and it requires more attention because you have to be thinking ahead. You have to know what the frequencies are. Or forget them 3 times when you read them out on
Good night,
a video. But it is a fun. It's a fun, different challenge, certainly. But yeah, I had to swap in the radios because on the 750 the radios weren't even working. So. If I can't even use the nav radios, then I can't even navigate by VOR. I need something for potentially IFR. We're gonna have to probably do an instrument approach into Tulsa. Speaking of, let's check out what's available to us. I've got 7 miles. That's what I always do in the DC6. I always get the idea of what we need to look at next for 100 miles away. 7 miles from the VOR. So we're gonna wait, we're gonna make the turn, and then we'll talk about getting into Tulsa. But overall, I mean, the weather's not terrible here. It could be full clouds. It's just that low layer right at like 6,000 feet right now.
Yes, sir. Echo 3 is good.
So we're up 4 miles now. Let's we're on heading mode. So let's tune in the next frequency. Oh, there is no next frequency. So that's what I was saying. We got to make a right-hand turn heading 254. So it's not even a particularly big heading change. We're going to turn this way, and then I'm just going to kind of make an aggressive turn to the right to intercept that VOR track. So we're going to fly this outbound. Well, let's wait till we actually pass it. I'm getting ahead of myself still, but we're still kind of south of where we want to be. So let's hold it here, and then once we see it go around, we'll tune that in. Well, let's put the VOR station behind us first. I do love that good big window. They got that in the Moonies too. And are we counting up yet? Not quite. We'll keep heading west around, heading to 5. Yeah, it is crazy that I can do this until 200 feet or whatever it is in Tulsa, and we can get there. It is pretty cool. So we should be hitting zone of confusion at this point. Yeah, there's the radial. So 2.5, or let's we'll make a little bit more of a gentle turn because I think this is a little bit sensitive, and we're not that far off. We're pretty close to the station, so.
Representative, evening.
any changes will be pretty quick. So let's go into nav mode. We'll just let the computer, we'll let auto take that one.
1513 in the box.
Follow that. How's speed? Engine's looking good. The oil pressure's okay. We have full forward on my throttles, so that's fine. Can we get any more power out of this? Maybe. That's about right. Right there, did I turn heat on? I did, it looks like. Let's check on everybody's happiness. Kevin's cool and steady. So we could open up the defrost a little bit more.
Delta 2946, radar contact, climb and maintain 15,000, turn left heading 150.
That's pretty good. And so again, the plan's gonna be, we're gonna fly outbound
Fox 7
till we hit 57 nautical miles. Now nav 2 needs to go to Tulsa. So the Tulsa VOR is on frequency. Where is it on the chart? 114.4. So now we've got that on nav 2. I don't think we're picking it up right now. It doesn't look like. Yeah. So we leave that there. We're cruising 8,000 feet now. All systems look good. We can.
Contact.
Let's refresh our altimeter setting.
Contact Nashville approach 119.35.
Altimeter 2982. We've got 2982 or so in there. So that'll do. So again, we're doing a little bit of a leap of faith that we'll be able to pick up Tulsa on the other side. So, but if we hit 57 nautical miles away from this VOR, and we don't have a Tulsa VOR, we're gonna make the left-hand turn and head towards it. That's gonna be a left turn heading 226. So where's our, so here's the sky vector of it all. We're here, we just made this slight right-hand turn to 254. We're heading outbound. We're gonna fly over Joplin. Joplin Regional here.
317 November, my center, hello.
And then we're gonna make the left to heading 226 for 85 miles, and that should get us in range for the Tulsa.
Radar contact 45 miles north.
We are now Tulsa. Tulsa's probably gonna have an ATIS we can read. Tulsa information Tango 153 Zulu. Time now is I think 2:23. Wind 010 at 6. 8 surface mile visibility, gusts or overcast at 1,400. Altimeter 2979. ILS runway 36 right, or we can do an RNAV for 36 left. Of course, we can't do an RNAV because we don't have a GPS. So we're going to do the ILS for 36 right, it looks like. And yeah, so we have information Tango from Tulsa. That, you know, could change.
Spirit Wings 121, I need to move you.
And you
up or
can see
down
we're,
south
you know,
speed,
we're a little actually north of where we should be on the... Oh no, that's right, because this has the airport punched in. This is going to Springfield Airport, but the Springfield VOR station's actually up here. So that's right. That looks wrong, but it's right. Let's do another check. We still have Memphis Center online. Chicago Center is online. We're actually never going to leave KC Center. If we did continue on to OKC, to Oklahoma City, I think that gets us into Fort Worth Center as far as ATC is concerned, which is also offline, so it's kind of moot. But and then we'll spend a little bit of time in Fort Worth before heading over to Albuquerque, and then we spend a ways in Albuquerque before we get to ZLA, our Los Angeles Center. down on the west coast. So we're actually, I mean, you look at the map, we're pretty far away, but you look at kind of some of the, there aren't that many chunks of things that are in our way. So thank you all again for coming along tonight. If you're just joining us, we're on Transcon 2022, flying our trusty Cessna 310R number 866 Tango Whiskey from, we started in New York, we started today in St. Louis, we did a little diversion to Sullivan Regional Airport in Missouri, and now we're heading towards Joplin, following roughly the Route 66 corridor carved out through the southwest U.S. We're going down to Los Angeles is our ultimate destination. And when we're going to make Mondays, or kind of our streaming days, where we will do some Monday night flight sim, and then we'll also do an occasional flex, or what I'm calling a flex stream during the day, during the week. So if there's an FNO we want to participate in on Bat Sim, that's something we can do. If there's another event, that just leaves us a little more flexible to pick up the events for a stream, whereas we used to stream on Thursdays, which would put us, you'd have to do back-to-back, which is
Delta 2946, Memphis Center, welcome. Huntsville altimeter is 2997.
But yeah, other than that, other than the GPS issue we've been having, it's been a delight. We've gone to radio navigation for this because GTN 750 wasn't working. I need to try and update the plane. I think it's the next culprit, because I just can't click on the screen right. But I did just update the GTN 750 live at Sullivan.
Spirit Wings 121, contact Atlanta Center 128.72.
872, nice, Spirit 121.
Right. Southwest 318, Memphis Center, welcome. Southwest 318, that's approved. Report back on frequency.
All right, so we're hitting 26, so we're about halfway there. We can always check on our nav too. Should be careful with the GPS on, but. And we are 4.4. Are we picking it up? I don't know. That's a little weird. It shouldn't be 10 miles away. We might be picking something else up. Because Tulsa, yeah, 114.4. I mean, it's kind of, maybe. No, it shouldn't be 10 miles away. We are on 114.4, yeah.
Delta 388, Memphis Center, welcome.
Memphis Center, Elite 647.
Elite 647, Memphis Center, welcome, sir. Delta 2946, contact Atlanta Center, 128.72, 128.72. Thank you. FedEx 3072, heavy information. Quebec is current in Memphis. Advising of Quebec, expect the ILS runway 18 right approach.
Memphis Center, FedEx 372. We've got information from Quebec and we'll expect 18 right. FedEx 372. Memphis Center, Spirit Winds 1314 US.
Spirit Wings 5314, Memphis Center, ident. Spirit Wings 5314, radar contact 38 miles northeast of Razorback.
That's a really good view. It's amazing what a little change in the focal length does for the drone camera.
317 November, radar contact live. Last aircraft calling the center, your microphone may be muted, carry only no voice. Southwest 318, thank you.
$46 miles. We're looking at 10 miles go now. Let's do a quick Tulsa check. That's more like it. 94.2 nautical miles. So we've got the VOR. We'll tune it in. I'm going to write down what my radial is that I actually want. It's 226. 226 inbound to the Tulsa VOR. So while we're thinking of it, let's pull up some charts for Tulsa. We're now doing IFR operations. Last we checked, Tulsa was landing on runway 36 right, is what they were using. So 36 right is going to be here, this long middle one, coming up from the south to the north, landing towards the National Guard. bases. So if we're using 36 right, let's pull up an ILS for 36 right. So ILS localizer 36 right. That'll be what we're looking for, and the ILS is going to be 110.3. Now we can fly an ILS in this plane. Done it a few times. And I'm hoping the weather's okay down there, that it'll be mostly visual by the time we get down there, so. We'll see, but we'll fly it like any IFR flight. Getting to do an instrument approach into Tulsa, and that's, you know, situations like this is why that instrument rating comes in handy, because we can, if we were VFR, we'd be kind of sunk at the moment. We couldn't really proceed with this low cloud. So that helps. 52 nautical miles. So that's all good. That's good. The other thing we'd start thinking about is descending. We're at 8,000 feet. We're not super high. If we descend 1,000 feet per minute at 170 knots, we could probably say 5 nautical miles, 1,000 feet. So as we get closer to Tulsa, we'll worry about that. But the ILS approach, coming from the Tulsa VOR, which is going to be our which will be our transition. We'll have to be down at 2,500 feet as we're heading into it. So basically, as we come in from the, we're gonna fly to the Tulsa VOR, then we're gonna track heading 212 to intercept the ILS runway 36 right localizer. And then come down, we can also go to Euler, that ADF, NDB.
Southwest 318 at pilot's discretion, descend and maintain flight level 240.
That's 57 nautical miles, so let's flip it over. I'm gonna start, we're gonna go to heading mode. Start a left-hand turn. To 226. We're gonna pause the music for that moment. And then we're going to go over to 114.4.
FedEx 3072 Heavy, you can descend under.
And we're pretty close, actually, on the radial, so we didn't miss by much. We can go back to nav. And just let it do the hard work of catching up. So we're now inbound to Tulsa, 83 nautical miles. Same, what, 5 nautical miles? 5 nautical miles per 1,000 feet, so we could even do more than that. But a leisurely descent would put us crossing. I'd like to be crossing the Tulsa VOR at 2,500, 3,000 feet or so. Just because then we're kind of down, we're settled. There's no reason for us to be higher. There's not traffic or anything. So we get down to Tulsa. So 82 miles, you know, we're at 8,000 feet, so 3,000, let's call it 5,000 feet to lose. 5 times 5 is 25 miles away. We can start a casual descent at 1,000 feet per minute. That's a DC-6 rule of thumb. It's not necessarily a 310R, but
3314,
the speeds are not that different, all things considered. And the truth is that the specific radial that we
3314, clear direct RNet.
fly in isn't going to matter too terribly much, other than just being on the course that we filed. So thank you all for coming along. If you just joined us, we are turning onto our final leg of this trip from St. Louis to Tulsa. We're heading direct to the Tulsa VOR. Then we're gonna, looks like we're gonna get to shoot an ILS approach into Tulsa International Airport, runway 36 right. So that should be fun. We're hanging out listening to Memphis Center. On a quiet night on VetSim here in Kansas City Center. Of course, our stream schedule, we're updating the stream schedule so that Mondays are going to be kind of the mainstream day. We won't always do Transcon. We can do Transcon another time too, but we'll have Mondays around 23:59 Zulu. That'll be our main time. And then we'll add Flex and After Dark streams as required. So that if we want to do something like the FNO this Friday, we can do that.
1185 Center.
But thank you all for joining us tonight on 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th leg of Transcon 22, if I count right. Getting a little IFR flying, and a good lesson in why you flight plan before you take off and just go. Just because the weather looks nice around where you are doesn't mean that it is everywhere. I've also been fighting a little bit of GPS issues with the GTN 750. So we've resolved it by going radio nav, doing a hot swap in 4866 Tango Whiskey. The other thing, we're showing a little bit of low fuel. Now, it's not like we have too much. We can actually go over to the aux. We've been flying for 90 minutes. So we can burn off what's in the aux tanks. So let's turn on.
2987 in Memphis.
We'll turn fuel pumps on. We'll just switch over to the aux tanks for the moment. And we can actually reduce speed a little bit too if we need to. Right main, and I always get this backwards.
Yeah, descend via the vans to arrival landing south.
Nope, nope, nope. Wrong one. So we'll go on to the aux tanks for the moment.
FedEx 37.
We still have about 50 gallons in the aux, or 50 pounds in the aux tanks.
50, maintain 2000 till established, cleared ILS.
We can also re-lean everything out. I'm wondering if, and I didn't check this, but we probably lost whatever fuel we had set up in the initial. So we'll set a slightly more comfortable cruise. So by my count, we have about 40.
Alaska 121 Center, how long are you going to be till you go?
We have about 100 pounds of fuel. We're going to cut it pretty close, actually,
Little Rock Airport via the
if this is the case.
Angelois transition, then it's foul.
We have about half an hour of flying left, and probably about an hour of fuel, which is a little closer than we'd like to cut it. But I think our fuel got reset to whatever it was before on the ground at Sullivan, because it didn't save the state quite right when I shut it down, because I was kind of in a hurry. I don't know what all the... There are a bunch of things you have to do to get it to save the state, as if you shut it down. I think I didn't turn the battery off, was my problem.
Information, Quebec is current altimeter 2987.
Oh, we should be good. We'll burn off some aux tank fuel.
You lead 647 to center maintain.
And cruise the rest of the way in. So yeah, I'm trying to put together some beaver work. I want to do a seaplane, kind of more of a seaplane exploration. I feel like that's a fun... The Beaver that came out with the 40th anniversary is a good seaplane to fly. It's my favorite looking seaplane out of all of them. It just has the right proportions. But it also handles well on the water,
wind, calm, runway 18 right, clear lane.
which is fun. So playing with the Beaver, I'm excited for some of the new avionics updates that are coming in the next one. I think it's the G3000 for AAU1. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that they're doing that. Integrating a lot of that into the base sim.
Delta 388, clear direct I have.
Memphis Center, Phenom 317 November.
Yeah, let's see if we can pick you up here. Phenom 317. November Memphis Center ident. Yes, sir. Can you squawk ident so I can pick you up on radar? Phenom 317 November, your radar contact 18 miles south-southeast of Nashville. Descend and maintain flight level 350. Delta 388, cross I-HAV at and maintain flight level 330.
Cross I-HAV and maintain flight level 330.
Spirit Wings 3314 Center.
3314.
Yes, sir. 10 call you a little bit earlier. You're leaving my airspace now to the southwest. Fort Worth Center is currently offline. Radar services are terminated. Frequency change advisory is correct.
Over to you, Spirit Wings 3314. Thank you.
And November 317 November, contact the Atlanta Center 128.72. Elite 647, contact Atlanta Center 128.72. FedEx 3072 Heavy, welcome back to Memphis. Next left turn at the Mike 3 high speed. Join taxiway Mike northbound and taxi to the FedEx ramp via Mike November Victor cross runway 27. Yes, sir. You cross 27 on November and you can taxi via November and Victor if you want to, depending on what ramp you're going to. Thank you, sir. Good night. Southwest 318, the Memphis Center is going to begin the process of closing the remainder of your flight inbound. will be with Unicom, but this time I don't have any additional traffic for you immediately in the Memphis area. Radar services are terminated. Frequency change to advisories approved. Southwest 318. Delta 388, contact the Atlanta Center 128.72, 128.72 for Delta 388. Good night, sir. Attention all aircraft, time now 0253 Zulu. The Memphis Center is closed and the aircraft that are on frequency radar is terminated. Frequency change to Unicom is approved. Good night.
Will Rod, welcome aboard. Me too. It's a good one. Probably my favorite GA one. Twins are fun in the sim when you're not paying for gas. About 40 miles from Tulsa now. We're across the Tulsa VOR at 2,500 feet. 3,000, 2,500. Looks like we're going to shoot the ILS for runway 36 right into Tulsa. So we get a little bit of GA, but also a little bit of chewy IFR stuff with this low cloud layer that we've been cruising over since, well, we left Sullivan. Other than that, it's a nice day. I don't know if we're legally over. I guess that would be. Is that still I-44 down there? I don't know. Does it keep going south? Springfield, Joplin. Yeah, I guess it is. So that's still I-44. Here it would be the Will Rogers Turnpike. And then do we lose old Route 66 at this point? I think we do. And I'm just looking on Google Maps because I don't have anything better than that, but there are parts of the roads that will you can occasionally find an old Route 66 road, especially up where we were leaving in Missouri. You could see that, but down here not really. That's a good question. If we were... So how long does it take to cross the U.S.? If we were doing a straight shot... Well, I can pontificate. We've been flying... It was probably an hour and a half, so we'll call it 2 hours out of New York. We left Montauk, New York. 2 hours. Another 2 hours, Montauk to Gettysburg. Gettysburg to Pittsburgh was probably an hour. And then Pittsburgh to India to Chicago was 2.5. So I'm losing count, but it's like 5, 6. So we're probably an hour 9 or 10 of flight and probably have 8 or so to go. Maybe. And we're not going very straight either. We're not a straight shot. I mean, if I'm doing 170 knots. If we just look at Sky Vector, well, let's say JFK to SFO, assuming you didn't stop for fuel at any point, it would take you 14 hours straight flying at 170 knots. So yeah, that's about right. Probably about 20. We'll probably end up around 18 to 20 hours of flying, but you could foreseeably do it in 17, yeah, 17, 18 is probably the min. That's if you took a great circle route between JFK and San Francisco or something like that. So we're hitting 32, what did I say, 25 miles? We were out, we were going to start a descent down to 2,500 feet. Just making sure we're the only ones in the responsible air traffic area. We are, so yeah. I'm going to go ahead and, as the controller of our own destiny, we're going to go ahead and authorize a descent down to 3,000 feet. And they'll try and cross Tulsa at 3,000 feet. Now at the Tulsa VOR, again, just to refresh, because I have the memory of a goldfish, we're going to cross Tulsa and then fly heading 212 to intercept the localizer for runway 36 right at Tulsa. And that should be 7.7 miles on that leg. So once we hit 25, we'll start coming downhill to 2,500. I can go ahead and punch that in. Or 3,000, I should say. So thank you all for coming along. If you're just joining us, we are on Transcon 2022, the series where we fly across the United States in a small, light general aviation airplane. We're flying today between St. Louis, Missouri, and Tulsa, Oklahoma. So we're crossing, we've crossed into Oklahoma, we're over Oklahoma. Fortunately, the scenery outside is not very interesting because we're fighting this low cloud layer that we're going to have to descend through to get to Oklahoma. So we took off VFR out of St. Louis, had to divert to fix some nav instruments on the plane to Sullivan shortly after. And now we're flying an IFR flight into Tulsa. After Tulsa, we're gonna, continue pushing west through the rest of Oklahoma, through North Texas, and on. I would hope to get to Albuquerque on the next leg, but I'm not sure that's gonna happen. If we go, just a rough estimate, KTOL to KABQ. That's 3.5 hours, 4 hours, which is probably the maximum we could do. But we could go through Amarillo, and I do want to go through Amarillo. So we might do a fuel stop at Amarillo and see how we're doing. But that might be a good weekend stream if we have some time. Just knock out that 4-hour flight. And then it's probably that and a little bit more. After we hit Albuquerque, we probably have 5 or 6 hours of flying left to get to Los Angeles. 24 nautical miles now I'm talking and not flying, so let's go ahead and vertical speed. And we're just going to set up a 1,000 foot per minute. We're going to keep the throttle in where it is. And I just need to keep an eye on fuel. So we're a little low now at, a little low in the aux tanks. We're down to not much. So let's go back to the mains. Let's rich up the mixture for the right engine. We have fuel pumps on. That's right main. Nothing has blown up. That's good. So we'll rich up the left mixture. And back onto left main. So we should have 50 pounds in both of those tanks. And we'll lean it back out again. So we started our descent to Tulsa. We're about 20 miles now from the Tulsa VOR. We're going to shoot an ILS approach for Tulsa International Airport. Here we are on the VATSIM network. We're on Unicom. Kansas City Center is offline. If we did have ATC on, we would need to talk to someone, but since they're not online, we don't. Let's get our latest ATIS, Captain. Latest ATIS. KTOL. We're information uniform 253 Zulu. Time now is 3:05 Zulu. Wind 010 at 7, 9 surf mile visibility, overcast at 13,013, so 1,300. Temperature is 12C, altimeter 2980. ILS 3 right still in use for approaches. There's also an RNAV that we can't use because we don't have our GPS loaded. Coming downhill, let's take one more look at the ILS approach chart, just so we know what's going to happen next. We're going to fly over the Tulsa VOR here, 114.4. We're then going to intercept the ILS for runway 36 right on 110.3. That'll be the ILS localizer frequency. And we'll punch that in on nav 2 now, just so we have that. The final course is going to be 360. And our minimums for this ILS approach will be 850 barometric, 200 decision height. So if we read 850 on the altimeter, we're going to go around without seeing the runway. Through 15 miles and 5,000. Descending into the soup, set up our approach into Tulsa, Oklahoma. And altimeter 2980, so we just put that in. 2980 as well. And I don't think there's any traffic at Tulsa at the moment, but we'll make a radio call just for our own edification. About 10, we'll say we're 10 to the north of the Tulsa VOR. Tulsa traffic, Twin Cessna 866 Tango Whiskey. We're about 11 miles north of the Tulsa VOR. We're setting up to shoot the ILS approach for runway 36 right, Tulsa traffic. And we're into the soup. Let's just make sure all our heats are on. Just in case. Actually, when it's pretty warm, it's 16C. We're not really, is that what outside air temperature is saying too? Yeah, we're looking all right. We're into the clouds, and this is going to be kind of the uncomfortable part of the flight, I think. With that overcast layer at 1,300, we're not going to see it till we line up on final. Which makes this bit a little tricky. Airliner, not too tricky, because we have a lot of, you know, maps and references, although I can see the ground. It may be worth it to jump down to 2,500 and see if we can just get below all this. So we'll keep it going down. And let's make sure we're slowing down too. Don't speed up too much, and we also want to make sure that we have enough mixture in as we descend. So in the soup now, we can see a little bit of the ground, but yeah, this is instrument flying. 6 miles from Tulsa, we're going to cross the Tulsa VOR. As we cross the Tulsa VOR, we're going to turn left heading, or yeah, it'll be a left turn heading 210. We'll track 210 or 212 outbound from the Tulsa VOR to intercept the ILS localizer for runway 36 right. Missed approach, we're going to climb 2,000 feet. Then climbing right turn 2,500, we'll go back direct to the Tulsa VOR. We're down 2,500 feet now. Altimeter is set. Everything else is still pretty soupy down here, which is unfortunate. We're going to try and hold 150 knots. Just so we're, you know, you're going fast in an instrument approach with low visibility. Things go kind of fast. We're going to try and do this the professional way. I'm trying not to look at Sim Toolkit Pro or anything like that. We'll leave aux fuel pumps on for now, since we're going to have to go in and land here. So 3 miles, let's get heading select mode ready. With a heading of 212 or so. It's not too big of a change, but it is a little change. So within 1 mile of Tulsa now, it's still real soupy. Just to remind myself, the wind was 0107. So not too much of a crosswind. I'm going to go ahead and punch in our turn to 217. And then our final course 360 for this approach. We'll punch this in, and at 7 miles from the Bureau, we should be making a right-hand turn to intercept the localizer. Lights are all on. Everything else is pretty good. Speed's good. If we want to. That scared me. We can bring out the... so we've gone over to the localizer frequency 110.3. We're 5 miles now. I'm going to go ahead and put gear out. This is going to put us out on a... We're 5 miles from the runway now. The runway should be back that way. We might be able to see the field, but maybe not. Here, over Tulsa. And then we're looking for Euler, which is going to be 7.2 DME from the airport. So as we get close to 7.2, we'll start a right-hand turn to intercept the localizer. We should also get glide slope. We're showing above the glide slope right now, which makes sense. But you can see the yellow triangles here representing the glide slope now on our HSI. So hold on, folks. This should be an interesting one. But this is, it's a fun thing to practice. Well, I'm glad we didn't just scrub it and go clear skies. Because this is fun in its own way. We are at 2,500 feet. Flying outbound. And do we have the airport? Still no, not really. It's not a pristine day for flying. And we're just following the procedure from Tulsa. If we did have ATC on, they could probably vector us around too and make it a little easier. But since I'm not in a big jet and don't have all those tools, readily set up for that, it's a little easier to do it this way for now. See the glide slope starting to come in too as we get closer. We got to be ready to spin ourselves around here. And we could fly this approach with the autopilot, and that's 7.1 there. That's 7.2. We're coming in below glide slope now, so we're going to start a right-hand turn heading 360. And we're just going to try and capture it. Capture the localizer now. And we can, I'm tempted to try it in approach mode, but we'll queue it up. So here it comes. We have vertical speed. We've captured the glide slope, so let's keep that down. Keep an eye on the speed. With the first notch of flaps, we have we're 7 DME from the runway. We need to see it at 850 feet. Otherwise, we got to go around. And I'm just going to change this to descend. But for now, we're flying pretty good. We're in an ILS approach in. Let's bring the power back at just a tad. We'll rich up the mixture. Props full forward in case we have to go around. And other than that, we will set up. So we're 5 mile final now. And I see a runway light. 5 mile final. We see the runway light. We're going to try and hold 100 knots here. Thankfully, no big jets behind us yelling at us to go faster. And now Tulsa, we're going to be going to general aviation, which is going to be off the runway to our right. So we'll kind of roll out to the end. We're close. There's an Echo 1 that we can roll out to, but we have 10,000 feet to work with. Have the runway in sight. Full flaps. I'm going to take control of the airplane. That's about 90 knots. That's kind of where we want to live for this part. And just, yeah, maintain the vertical speed at 800, 700 feet per minute. We should be just fine. We're getting a little below the glide slope. We've got the runway. At this point, you might be reminding Tulsa Tower that you're on final to land. Runway 36 right. Twin Cessna 866 Tango Whiskey, and I should tell the radio world that. Tulsa traffic, Twin Cessna 866 Tango Whiskey. We're on short final land. Runway 36 right, Tulsa. Not that there is anyone at Tulsa. But doesn't hurt. And just flying the glide slope. We've got flaps full out. Everything full forward. Again, go around. We're going to climb straight ahead 2,000 feet and then go direct to the Tulsa VOR and climb to 2,500. We have the runway in sight, and we are passing 1,000 feet now. A little bit of a crosswind. We're getting blown a little to the right, so let's just a little bit of rudder. Compensate. And a patch of sunshine. That's about 850, so that's about minimums. That's looking pretty good. Let's let it keep coming down. No need to fight it. A little left of center. We're keeping some power in as we touch down. Slowly bringing it back. We're on the ground. I'm going to keep the engines running so we actually roll out. $91 feet per minute, I'll take that. So that was a pretty good approach, if I do say so myself. We're going to taxi Echo 1 on the rollout, and then just go to the general aviation area. I thought I saw that marked, but maybe I was making that up. We'll vacate at Echo 1 and figure out where we're supposed to go. Turn that off, strobes can come off. And then, so where are we going here? Not real well marked. So the terminal is back the way we came. I kind of just want to go straight ahead. We're going to go straight ahead and call that general aviation. I'm not familiar with Tulsa, so I'm not sure. Tulsa traffic. Twin Cessna 866 Tango Whiskey. We vacated 36 right. We're taxiing to parking B Echo 1 Tulsa. So another happy landing. Thank you all for coming along. We're going to do a quick flight replay. Let's taxi on out. We'll do a quick flight replay while I still get everything running. Then I'll come back and shut it all down for us. But yeah, that was a good, fun, more of a technical flight, I thought, than a sightseeing flight. But that ended up being pretty good, and I thought the approach went pretty well for a low visibility approach. We didn't have to go down to minimums or anything, but pretty good. All right, let's run it back. Let's log off ads. Low visibility. Welcome to Tulsa, everybody. Made it. That was a fun approach. That was a fun flight. And yeah, not maybe what I was planning. But that's why flying with live weather and stuff is fun, because you get to do stuff like that. let's just turn everything off. And, yeah, button up the cabin, everything. These are all in. You can turn the lights down. And I think that is it. Let me get this thing all stored up. We'll put the control lock, wheel chocks, pitot cover, all my covers on. And call it good. So thank you again for flying along on this VFR flight from St. Louis down to Tulsa. Again, next one, I have grand designs on getting to Albuquerque on the next one, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But as always, thank you all for coming along. Really appreciate it. And yeah, if you have any questions, comments, ideas for places that we should fly next, drop in the comments section below. Like, comment, subscribe, all the usual YouTube stuff. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for coming along. Take it easy, y'all.